I, Vegeta, the Prince of all Saiyans, hereby command that you do not listen or subscribe to the Dragon Ball 4 Life podcast. Whatever you do, would you defy royalty? No! Bye!
We have your attention, please, and welcome to another episode of Dragon Ball 4 Life, where you come for the content, but you stay for the culture. And it's Friday. You know what that means. We have another brave challenger that has decided to answer the Dragon Call. But before we introduce our very special guest, you know who we are. The Fusion Dance Dons, a.k.a. the Mong Gods, a.k.a. the deadliest backcourt in podcasting. I go by the name of Bro Jeter, the Prince of all sayings, Mr. Matthew Porter, a.k.a. Matty Ice, here with my counterpart, the Oob to my Majin Buu, my den day one going from the lookout to the cookout, Mr. Troto Trav. Talk to the people, Trav.
You know me. I stay chillin', and I love thy women like Krillin. And after the announcement of First Take, I am bringing back Super Saiyan Smith and Super Saiyan Sharp, and we are here today for another episode of Dragon Ball 4 Life. Now, Matt, the tables have turned today, as this week's guest is not the one asking the questions. Does she own any other shades of lipstick other than black? Who will be the next character that she flawlessly cosplays? Ooh. And can she teach two young disciples the ins and outs of Dungeons and Dragons?
That's us. We're the disciples.
All of which will be answered today, and we are more than confident we will achieve them. Please give a warm welcome for Becca Godsey, a.k.a. CausticPhoenix. Bring it, snap.
Hello. I'm here. I'm ready.
I made it through the intro saying the name right. Let's get it.
We got it.
I am so mad because I was hoping you'd really mess it up.
She's like,
I know, right?
Fuck it up.
I would have the upper hand this entire time because I could just hold that over you. So
and you'd be like, you're not editing that out.
Yeah,
you're keeping that in.
You have to. I want everyone to know that you messed up. That's important to me. Thank you.
I'm all about learning from my mistakes, so you know we let it all ride.
And then there goes our female viewership.
Gone. We hate him.
Dead in the water, trash.
Yo, just
pack it up.
This, yo, fuck trash.
You didn't know, but I'm like a bomb. I'm just here to tank everything that you all have created. You're welcome.
Controversy creates cash. Look, this will be the one that sends us off into the sun.
Podcast assassinator. That's what they call me.
Yeah.
All them toxic male podcasters are gonna put an arm around us. Look, we got it, guys.
Yeah, yeah. You're like, wait. I don't want.
We're like, no. Take it. Take it back.
Take it back. We don't
I'm not with y'all.
Mama. We don't want it. But Beck, as Trav flawlessly introduced in your introduction, I don't even know if that was like an accurate sentence, but they're just words. They don't control
I love words.
us.
I'm a fan of them.
Diction's like my thing. That's like really my thing. I love it. It's so good. But Trav did mention that there's a lot for us to cover here, and we want to end on the D&D because you are a pro. And we are novices. We're noobs out here. So we want to kind of give all of our casual and hardcore listeners for D&D like a crash course from a professional. So we're going to end there. So the easiest place to start is the beginning. Your alter ego, or maybe this is who you've always been, CausticPhoenix. Where did that name come from? How did she come to be?
All right, so I am half Asian. I like to touch into my roots, and I was born in the year of the dragon, the counterpart, of course, being the phoenix, so I really leaned into that. But if you look out there in terms of names, Phoenix is everywhere, and everyone always defaults to like the very European style. Yeah, dang it. He doesn't get the final say on Phoenixes. It's really unfair here, okay? You can't also have two cool names. Like Joaquin is already cool, and to take Phoenix, he's just being selfish. I
don't know his full nationality, but I know a lot of it's probably white. So that's like a dirty name for a white boy.
You feel pretty confident about that. You're like,
I'm pretty confident that most of it's probably white.
You don't deserve this. Take a step back, sir.
That's like a dirty name. Like you see that on the application, you're like, culture, okay.
Right?
He walks in, like, oh, wait.
Said, you know what? Just like your culture, we're going to take that back.
Yeah, you don't deserve this. I don't even know if it's his real name. It could be one of those actor names. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it is. I think.
All right.
We'll do the research.
I don't know if I should blame him or his parents then. Like, that's.
I feel like his mom is probably like a super hippie. I feel like she's very of the world.
Yes.
That's what I feel.
Yes. Okay. We'll give it a break. So I went with Phoenix, but I'm like, okay, I can't do any of just typical Phoenix. So I went the Pokemon route, and I'm like, let's think of different elements then. Right? We can't do fire, we can't do water. We went with acidic. That's caustic. I was like, I like how it sounds. It's punchy. We're eating away at things. Like, that's what we're going with. So I'm Caustic Phoenix.
I love it. I love it. And just to, to make you feel better, I did a quick Google search, and his real name, and
that's nice, right?
Joaquin Phoenix is definitely better because his real name is Joaquin Raphael Bottom.
Bottom? His last name's Bottom.
But his first name is actually Joaquin.
It is Joaquin.
Okay.
But
right.
Yeah, I would have changed the last name.
He was born in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Is he Hispanic?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh shit!
Right.
Well,
but he's at least had time with the culture and this. Yeah, he gets he's ours.
We get one. We got the Joker.
But I don't think Joaquin Bottom is hitting as well as Joaquin.
Yeah,
no, not at all. Not at all. There's too many jokes to be made there. I'd change it.
Way too many. Like, could you imagine him going up to get his Oscar? Joaquin Bottom.
Oh gosh. Every single
don't mail it to me, yo. I'm not coming.
Every single honor would be making fun of his last name. Nothing else would be talked about every single time. That would overshadow any work that you create.
Fact. My man saved a bus of orphans from tipping off of a bridge.
but his last name's Bottom.
Joaquin got to the bottom of it. Did it. I gotta get one dad joke off an episode. It's
okay, good. Never again.
Contractually obligated.
Got it. All right, we've all suffered. We can move forward.
That was the one.
She already let me slide. I passed that test of pronouncing the last name right.
Yeah.
So you get your dad joke.
Yeah.
I get one.
One for one.
Everybody gets one.
What do I get one of? Do I have a limit?
Look, this is your episode.
Yeah,
perfect. I can do anything. Got it.
Anything.
Roast, anything.
All right.
Whatever you want. The floor is yours.
No.
Oh, go ahead, Trap.
No, I was just gonna say, but do you, so as you when you go into your interviews and when you go into your Twitch and streaming, obviously right now you're back. We're interviewing back. But do you like to be, do you like to interplay between the two, between Beck and CausticPhoenix, or you wake up as Beck, then one other day you wake up as
go to bed as
CausticPhoenix?
I just switch back and forth. I actually really love CausticPhoenix. With a lot of people,
a dope name.
It's something like, it's a lot like your chosen name, right? When you choose it resonates with you, you see the identity, you get to build it up, versus like a name that your parents picked for you and you're like, I got stuck with this, and you have to try to work with it to turn it into a nickname that feels like you. This is one that I picked for myself and I love it. I prefer Caustic, but I know also in some professional settings it doesn't work. So like my students, they just call me Godsey instead.
Well, at least your name was a Beck Bottom.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Definitely would understand.
I feel like I should
change.
Instead of Caustic Phoenix, I should have gone Phoenix Bottom.
Phoenix
that would have shown
Bottom.
Phoenix. Yeah, that would have shown Joaquin Phoenix.
Caustic
he'd
Bottom.
have loved it. He'd have been like,
yeah,
this is great.
Yeah. I'll show you how you can be successful with a name like that.
Yeah. You're gonna flip it, and now you're gonna be the one.
It's my name now.
So the bottom will be at the top.
Yes.
I see what you did there, Trav.
Opening your third eye.
Set
wow,
up.
that's crazy.
Okay.
Look, opening up your nerd eye, bro.
Right.
I see what you did there.
Now, Beck's gonna be the reason why Joaquin goes to his real name, and it's the next movie you see him star in. It's gonna be Joaquin Raphael Bottom.
Yeah, he's just gonna lean into it. No one's gonna recognize him.
Charlie Sheen did that randomly, like way later in his career. He was like, introducing Emilio Estevez. It was like, bro, you've been acting for like 30 years. Like you ain't tricking nobody.
We see the rebrand a mile away. We not falling.
Facts.
This is too late. You're hopping on the train, so
yeah. And I think it was like after all that Tiger Blood shit. So I guess he was trying to like get away from that craziness.
What an interview! Just kept leaning into it. Like no one else could compete at that level.
Yo, that was like next level shit. That's crazy how that kind of phased out. I would have thought that would have stuck around pop culturally forever. Like that was like a crazy time.
If you talk about Tiger Blood now, only a certain audience is gonna remember that time.
Yeah. Exactly. Or they're gonna be like, oh, was that on Joe Exotic? Did he say that? Was that on Tiger King? Like, no, that wasn't on Tiger King.
You weren't a fan of the Tiger King craze?
Dude, I was so mad. Okay, like as somebody who really loves animals, I'm like, I get it. This idiot, absolute dumbass. But what about the animals? I'm like, I see there's some trials following up from it. I'm like, this is stupid though. Like he's entertainment. but he is stupid and he should be out. I'm sorry. I was just so mad. I'm like, people are laughing at him, but like laugh and then kick his ass out the door. Like that was my take.
I mean, they threw his ass in prison.
I know. And yet he still has cameras on him. I'm like,
could you imagine like putting out a Netflix special and you're thinking like, oh, sky's the limit, but like based off that special that like reopens investigations that gets you thrown in jail?
You should. Yeah, right. I'm gonna be so special. Like, oh my God.
Because I would imagine, like, not even imagine, I'm fairly certain like he had to like sign off on that idea, like, oh, this is gonna be great for my brain.
Oh, yeah.
Like, nope, got you put in jail, bro.
Probably made tons of money. He's got to have a book out, right? There's got to be a title. He probably got a book deal out of this.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Jeff Lowe, who clearly murders people, is still out.
Right?
Yo.
That man is terrifying. We're like
clearly
watching this.
Murders people.
I mean, his outfit alone, I'm like, he not well in the head. Like if you wake up in the morning and say, yeah, I'm going to walk outside looking like this.
In all weather conditions.
No. Yes. They're all terrifying.
I mean, leather on leather in the summertime. With the bandana. Where's your commitment? Where's your sweat escaping from, sir? I don't trust people that don't sweat.
I don't think he's not human.
I have a thing about people that don't sweat. I don't trust them. I don't trust them.
Why? Do you think they're hiding their sweat from you?
I don't know, but so for me, I hold heat. So like random tangent on the DB4L podcast. Like I sweat super easy. Like it don't take much for me to sweat, especially in the summertime. So when I see people I know, right? When I see people who are like, hey, this is a safe space. What do we say? There's no rules. We do what we want.
It's true. That's true. All right. You're a sweater.
I'm a sweater.
Waterfalls from your armpits. Got it.
I got the visual. It's mainly from my head. It's mainly from my head.
Okay.
Because I use women's deodorant. It works very well.
I use men's deodorant because I thought it was better.
Nah,
yeah, my fiance and I use the same deodorant.
Yo, Dove, what the Dove dry spray? What?
Really?
Come sponsor us. Come get us, yo.
Yeah, Dove.
I think
I do use
men's
Dove.
deodorant.
Dove,
I think maybe because men's deodorant does work really well. It makes my body overcompensate to get the sweat to leave somewhere else. So maybe like I heat up more. I feel like that's the thing. Yeah. But when I be seeing people who can wear like 3-piece suits in the summertime, I'm like, I don't trust it. I don't like it. You're way too comfortable in this weather. No. I'm dying right now.
The idea is you wear minimal layers or you wear so many that they can't see you sweating.
Okay.
Like they are, you just can't tell. Like if you're wearing a leather jacket, like you don't see the sweat coming down, right? Like they hide it. They got to wear a bunch of different things. It works.
That's why those businessmen in the summer just always have a blazer on at all time because you don't want to see what's behind.
Maybe that's why they're always in a rush. They're not busy. They just don't want to, let you get too close.
Don't smell me.
And they do always wear gray and or navy blue.
Yes.
So they might be drenched in sweat.
Yes, exactly. There's a strategy around it.
We cracked the code. Episode over. We cracked the code.
This is all we needed to know.
Yeah, we don't need to learn more about that.
We don't know nothing about
people who wear a lot of layers. Please write in. Let us know what color are you wearing.
Yes.
How do you hide your sweat?
Which colored suit do you sweat the most in?
Yes.
Facts.
Do fabric types matter, right? Like some might absorb better, right? Yes.
I would imagine.
Is it 90% linen? Is it polyester? What are we talking?
Yeah. Listen, go straight windbreaker. Then it just becomes like a little catch-all, like a little Ziploc baggie you're wearing to keep all your sweat with you.
That you can reuse for a later occasion. I don't know what you reuse sweat for.
Well, maybe you're just into recycling. You use that.
There you go.
It's a green podcast.
To water the flowers?
Yes.
It might be a thing.
Yeah.
Might be a thing.
There are options. Maybe you just don't like sharing any part of yourself, so you even keep your sweat to you.
Because the government be out here cloning Tyrones. I got you.
Yes, exactly. That's why you got to keep your sweat. You don't know who's stealing it from you.
Look, we want to bleep all this out. We're giving out too much sauce.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna be in trouble.
The FBI's
at my door.
We're on a list right now.
We're gonna be neighbors to Joe Exotic after this podcast.
Oh my god!
Tapped in
I'll see y'all on the yard. We can all hang out. We can keep each other safe at lunch.
That's true.
Well, you know what? That's the perfect time for us to learn Dungeons and Dragons, right?
Yeah, we'll have so much time.
Bringing it back.
Oh my gosh! We're doing it in like a prison.
It's all full circle.
Said, why are you in jail? Because I want to learn Dungeons and Dragons
in prison, which is a metaphorical dungeon. Game changer.
Yes.
Game changer.
Why hasn't anyone done this already? No.
You know what?
We're about to spearhead a prison league. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes,
Dungeons and Dragons prison league. It's going to be great.
Let's get it.
I see it.
Dungeon Squared and Dragons, because they're in the dungeon.
Yes, it's an actual dungeon.
Is that, are you going over your dad joke limits right now? I don't know. Was that another one?
We're rolling. I feel like we all agree this is a great idea.
D&D jokes are separate. I put that in a different category.
All right,
there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
I see you finesse the system, Matt. Okay.
Look, my nerd eye is open right now. Look, like a phoenix, we rose.
That's right.
Through.
There we go.
We rose from the bottom.
It's all coming together.
Wow.
See what they did there. His mom's a genius, yo. His mom is a genius.
This is so layered. Pretty soon we're just gonna be talking in circles.
Look. What did we tell you when we were on our pre-call? This is how these things go.
That's true.
Epic tangents that just bring us back to where we needed to be to begin with.
Because you did say back when we were talking earlier, you did say that your students call you Godsey. So
Yes.
to reel us back in a little bit. So are you a teacher outside of is that your occupation, your 9 to 5, as they say?
My day job that often bleeds into my nightlife because I have no concept of work-life boundaries. So yeah, I'm a course director over at Full Sail. I teach in game business and esports degree program.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm a nerd during the day too.
Yeah. So let's stay there real quick because we had Tiger Lily on as well.
Oh, amazing!
And,
shout outs.
Yeah,
great interview. And we did want to talk about that aspect of turning let's say nerddom or what was once considered a hobby into a full-time occupation, because I didn't even know that that realm. I knew I just knew it from a content creator space and just in general, there's money to be made there. But from, I guess you could say, a corporate level, just a 9 to 5 level. So how did you get into that? And what would be some words of advice you give to those hey, you know what? For every adult that is saying, yo, ditch your hobby, you're like, no, you can actually turn a career out of this.
Yes. And I'm going to actually pick right off on that because you can absolutely turn your hobby into your career. And we've seen it with plenty of others like photography and art, and content creation is just another form of art, right? We use our words, we use the visuals that we create. This is an art form that we develop skills and styles around. And so being able to turn it into a career option is absolutely there. And as the gaming space continues to grow, it's one of the fastest growing media platforms out there and forms of consumption in which we're taking in content. Of course, there's going to be a huge market. The challenge is, of course, whenever you turn anything from a hobby to a career, is that you're going to lose some of the favorite parts that you liked about it being as a hobby, right? You can choose what you want to do, right? You can just choose how you value it versus when it becomes a business. Now you have to think of how does this become sustainable? What am I spending money on? Is it bringing enough money in that I can continue to stay afloat on this? And now it's no longer is it just, do I enjoy this? But now it's also, can I get others to enjoy this? And that becomes numbers and evaluation, and how you assess your value becomes very difficult and emotional. Honestly, sometimes very hard.
Right. Because you still want to maintain that enjoyment for it, because you don't ever want it to become a job, because Matt and I have talked about this a bunch of times when it comes to podcasting, where everyone thinks it's just getting a mic, hopping on and just shooting the shit with your friends. But we've been doing this since probably 2016, and there are points of time where I'm Matt, we got to take a week break or something, because reset. I don't want to start feeling like it's a chore or it's a burden, or it's I gotta type up this brief for the team so we can figure out what we want to talk about next episode. I don't ever want it to be like that. And so what in terms of schooling and just the process for that, because I'm sure if a child says hey, this is the route I want to take, of course parents are like, well, what are you gonna do for school? How are you gonna pay? Exactly. So if there's a path, or if there's just educational resources that are out there that people can turn to, where would you direct them towards?
Sure. So there are a lot of free resources out there in YouTube. The challenge is that's an ocean, right? And how do you find direction in an ocean? It's easy, oh, here's this shiny thing. Suddenly, because I'm more excited about this, I'm going to focus on this thing instead of the thing I need to focus on, which is how do I open up an LLC so I can, register this as a business and do all the fun paperwork around it? Or how do I make sure that I'm saving all my receipts and organizing them in a way so that way when tax season comes, I don't want to rip my hair out one more time, because
you don't want to be Wesley Snipes.
Right. Well, and there's no category category for content creation. So I'm like, I'm guessing this is the right. There's all of these not glamorous parts that you have to do. And when you're just going to a place like YouTube, that can be hard to focus. I mean, there's a lot of programs, right? A lot of careers out there where you can do a lot of self-taught. In the game space, content creation space, can you do that? Absolutely. But for those who want to do focus and do well in a school system, that's where like a university certifications work really well on that end. So that's where you might opt for that. And especially if you're like, I don't even know what the options are, or I want help in making sure like I get internships at existing companies because I'm not starting out from, or I don't want to start off from scratch. I want to work with somebody else. I want to work with a team. So that can be a space where you can collaborate. It's finding that right match, right? Like it's the Goldilocks scenario, right? Where's the right bed size? What's the right temperature of soup for me that's going to suit my business needs moving forward?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And which route would, go ahead, Matt.
I was gonna say, would you say like the teaching aspect, because we just talked about the risk of when you turn a hobby into a business, and trying to find like that white rabbit that makes you not dread like the business aspect of it. Would you say that like teaching and like passing on that knowledge and like watching kids who are in positions that you were in who still have like that bright-eyed, bushy-tailed hope about this industry, like is that like what keeps you going, like when you get bogged down by like the business side of it?
Yes, like a witch, I siphon their energy from them and I feed it back into myself.
That's why your hair is turning green. That's the energy.
Yeah. It's who I am. I suck it from them.
This interview is going to be red in our hair.
I'm a Mother Gothel here. Give me all
have
of
no
it.
color.
Saturation.
Mother
gone.
Gothel doesn't get her flowers as a Disney villain. She did her thing. She did her thing.
Yeah,
for
she
sure.
did what she had to do, right?
That's fast. In terms of motivations, hers weren't the worst.
No. Just taking some hair color at the end of the day. Come on. Let her have her immortality.
Thanks. Like, I mean, I feel like they could have worked out a system. Was like, yo, at least come visit me so I could get a strand. Like, you can still live your life, but call your mother. She worries.
Yeah, she worries.
Call your mother.
It would have been great.
She raised you. Come on, gave you a shelter, 3 meals a day, a little pet iguana. You're fine.
Like, the least she could do is help her live forever. That's the least.
At least.
You could do. You ain't paying no bills.
No, you're fine.
Just help her live forever. That's all you gotta do. And then I feel like in that relationship, did Rapunzel also get to live forever? Because like she's keeping her mom alive forever, so I feel like she wouldn't wanted to keep her alive forever. I'm down with living forever. That's cool.
That's true.
I would have took that trade off.
They don't mention that in the fairy tale, do they? Does she live forever?
Like what happens when Rapunzel dies? Like Gothel's like fucked. It's like shit.
Like this isn't great.
And, that was olden times. People was dying at like 30 back then.
That's true. That's a long time to live.
Yeah.
30.
Would y'all want to live forever? I don't.
Sort of.
I feel like initially most people were, but
thing.
Yeah. I think it would also. Here's the thing. Would I want to live together? Only if I'm rich. No one wants to live forever in poverty. Let's be real.
That's a good question. Yeah. And also, certain eras, that we also need that. I don't think I would want to live during the time back, when slaves were still going. I don't think
might not be the best time for our people.
I always hate that question. Like, if you could go back in time, when would you go? I'd be like, never. It was not great. Did you see all that? Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, I would like to continue to go to school, right?
Right.
Come on. I'm not going back. I'd
like to freely drink water at any fountain I choose.
Yes. Yeah, please.
I like to get my food from the front of the restaurant.
Yes.
Call me spoiled.
Sometimes I don't want to sit in the back of the bus.
Yeah. Moving forward, voting, I love it. Turns out I'm a huge fan. I like being able to own property right now and not be property.
Right.
I like not to, go all the way back and fight even harder for women's rights. Like I don't maybe.
Yeah. I mean, not to get too real right now, but it's like, women's health is going backwards. Am I going to just be diagnosed with hysteria anytime somebody doesn't like my emotions?
I mean, you just outed yourself as a witch. Like it's
I know that's true. That's true. I'm going to be out.
Salem's on the way down now.
I laugh, but it's so terrifying right now. Like, great. Great. I'm out.
You're not wrong.
Next time you talk to me, I'm going to be in Canada.
Yeah, like, I mean, Roe versus Wade didn't happen not too long ago, so it's like,
it's fresh. The wound is still very fresh.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, maybe we should actually get plunge into the future.
Oh
We're not gonna go back.
That's where we want to be. We're all future oriented. We're making the future we want.
It's like that. It's like that meme where like this is what Euphoria looks like. It's just like bright sky, like there was like futuristic like cars flying and shit. Like okay, yeah.
I don't know if I'd want like. I know, like, because of the Jetsons. I feel like it's the Jetsons' fault. They set unrealistic expectations for us with flying cars.
Yes,
and they look really so nice. Like, if they look amazing. That shit would be so dangerous.
Oh, dangerous as hell.
Accidents every day. Like, like no survivors.
No,
accident in the sky.
Yeah,
and then if you down on the ground, you're fucked. Like this shit driving, like it's a wrap on you.
You're out. Listen, like when we think of the future, it's hard, right? Like we imagine the flying cars, like the whole do you all play Cyberpunk? Because that was a fun game.
I did. I played the beta.
But it was super grimy. It's like, it looks cool, but I'm like, no one looks happy here either.
Right, no one. Not a one person looks happy. That air does not look good to breathe in.
Nah.
No.
Like there would need to be some sort of like barrier above the sky that like
you have to.
Yeah, like you said, if an accident happens, I ain't trying to get hit with a Honda Civic as I'm like walking home from lunch. Civic. Like,
that's
are
how
you kidding me?
All right, could you imagine it's like 3:00 in the morning, someone's going to like for like a wow run and bangs out, now they're in your living room.
Yeah. I was like, oh great.
I was asleep. I had nothing to do with this. Yeah.
Listen, I've heard of people still even this day, like 10 years when it was more than 10 years when I was in high school, but it feels like it should have only been 10 years ago. But like people do Taco Bell runs and then they're driving through houses at 3 a.m. in the morning. That's what Taco Bell does to you, though.
Yeah,
I was about to say Taco Bell sounds.
I gotta find a restroom as quick as possible.
Not even if it's not mine.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I will say it would be tougher to carjack in the sky. So you know,
that's true. That's true.
Where do you pull over?
You can't. It's just is what it is.
Pull over, yeah.
No. Ditch the cyberpunk. Solar punk is the future you want. Solar punk.
Okay.
The whole eco, like that's the one where you visit. Like in the future, it's like there's as many trees as there are buildings. That's the solar punk vision, right? Like
mad wind turbines.
Yes,
so many
eco-friendly, sustainability. People aren't having to work mentality, right? We're using that. That's the idea.
Yeah. Isn't it? I feel like that's very telling. What a tangent we're on. I feel like it's very telling, like when you see like future dystopian movies, like where they get it right. Everybody's like farmers again. This is like, are y'all telling us that like big business is bullshit? Like, are we supposed to just simplify things? Let's just farm. Let's farm again. You know why farming is so crucial? That's so exhausting. You're too tired to commit crime.
That's true. That's all you're doing.
Like, that's all day. Like, you don't have the time to go rob and murder. It's like, y'all
we're bringing things back. You know, you see how like with trends, clothing, everything's coming back. You always hear about
bring back farming.
I can't sew a straight line. I'm gonna be screwed.
Yo, facts.
I can't sew a straight line. I can't keep plants alive. All right, that's
I don't have
hard.
patience cooking on a stove. You can shit on the highest setting, yo. Like growing plants, like yo. I can't. I'm just be sitting in the field just watching them. Like, y'all done yet?
I'm in Florida. I got pineapple plants, and I'm like, I'm so excited. When am I gonna get these pineapples? They take a year. They take a year to grow.
Jeez.
And I get one pineapple. Not even that. No, maybe it's longer than that. Wait, hold on. We have Google, right?
There we go. That's how we
gotta look up.
we get to the bottom.
You grow a pineapple all year, and you're just like, yo, I could just ran to Trader Joe's.
Yeah, okay, it is 24. 24 months. And I'm like,
crazy.
That's insane.
So 2 years.
That's 2 years. That's
my God, it is.
To grow.
Yo.
We'll bleep out the math part.
Thank you. Yeah.
No, but that's even longer though. Shit.
It's even longer.
Yo,
we gotta help her keep her job. She's a teacher.
This is obviously I don't teach math. Okay, different.
Do you just not live near a grocery store?
It just takes a long time.
Yo, 2 years to
I go to the
one
Asian
pineapple. That's
I love Aussie.
Yeah, I have patience.
That's madness.
I don't know how we got here, but
speaking of growing and cultivating plants, growing up.
Yes.
Was D&D what got you into your neuroculture, or was there like some animes, cartoons that you grew up in?
Dude, I'll be honest. The way that I got into it was really with my brothers. A lot of the games, right? All these things, like they weren't targeted always to women. Right? It took like a passionate family member to be like, yeah, this is for you. You can absolutely play. I'll be honest, I didn't play Dungeons and Dragons until after I was out of college. It's been like 5 years ago that I picked it up. And again, it was because of my brothers. Like they welcomed me into this space. And I remember when I first started getting into Halo 2, right? It was because
such a good game.
Well, I learned it because I wanted to play with my brothers, right? They're active in it. I'm like, I got to get into it. And then I fell in love with the soundtrack. It was beautiful, right? And of course, good gameplay, excellent PvP competition, right? It was that's where you wanted to be when you were playing games. Don't get me wrong. I still played like Animal Crossing beforehand, James Bond,
great game.
GoldenEye, right? Yeah. Mario Party. But those were always targeted as being very family friendly anyway. Well, maybe not the GoldenEye.
Animal Crossing, that game was fun as shit.
It is, especially when you do slappers only. Like,
or like big head mode or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shout out to Animal Crossing. Speaking of Halo 2, like, can we all sign a petition and campaign to bring back co-op campaign modes? Like, I missed those so much, yo. Like playing a story mode with my friend. Like, and then like, you know, you can never play until they're over, so you're just like waiting.
Yeah.
Like, come over, bro. We can finish the story.
Nobody plays like sitting on the same couch anymore, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, because you used to be like, yo, come through, we'll game for like hours and that was it. But yeah, now I mean like it's good and bad, right? Because it's like, oh, you can play together if y'all in different parts of the country, but then at the same time you get so accustomed to that like the idea of coming over and gaming is just like a lost art in a way, you know?
It is. People see it exhausting. Like I remember when we bring over entire systems and we'd set it up.
In your bag.
Yeah. You got your bag ready to go, included snacks all set up, right?
You Friday night.
Move a mattress onto the floor so that way you could all sit there and you just fall asleep at the end of the day, right? Like that's how it is. If you need a game like that now, It Takes Two is actually really fun.
I literally just downloaded that game because me and my older daughter play like 2-player games together. We played like Marvel Avengers Lego Marvels. That was fun.
Great choice.
Moving Out is a fun game. It's also on the PlayStation Store. You're like literally just a group of movers moving shit, and you have to like play with 2 people.
Yes.
And then we're about to beat that, and I downloaded It Takes Two. I was like, oh, this game looks fire.
It's perfect. Well, that's the game that not only are you playing with, but like it forces you to think about the relationship that you have with that person. Oh,
yeah, facts.
It's a good one.
Awesome.
It's a good one.
Facts.
I would have loved more games like that growing up too. Like, don't get me wrong, I love all my favorite childhood games. Confession, I never played Mario or Sonic. Those games were stressful.
Like ever, or you were just late to the game?
This is a safe space.
No, I don't. They stress me out. Oddly enough, though, I love Maze Craze from Atari. There are certain stresses I'll pick up.
Yeah, you're like, this one I'll
this one I'll like. All the others though, Sonic stresses me out, especially because you can only see so far ahead when you're running. I'm like, no, I'm not running into the unknown.
I could see that. I could see that.
Because you definitely want to try to. Because you definitely feel terrible playing Sonic and you're like playing cautious. Like you want to speed through the shit.
You just want to be zooming.
That's how you die.
Yes.
So it's like you playing smart to get through this, and now you feel like trash. You're like, I'm terrible at this game.
I just ran you into a spike. I feel awful.
Yeah. When you lose your rings, you're like, Sonic, I let you down, bro.
Yeah. You're like moving through your zoom. You're I'm cooking this joint. I'm cooking, and then all of a sudden,
and he's fading.
Like, what
yeah.
Remember that pain? It's not away yet.
That is stressful. That is that. I felt that way more about Mario than Sonic, especially like the games where it's like you're like elevated and you're like in the clouds and shit. And if you drop, it's a wrap.
I remember seeing those.
That was a lot. A lot of our childhood trauma stemmed from video games.
Yeah,
and
right.
It's funny.
You might tell about how we handle stress these days.
No, that's fast because I'm. It's no secret that I'm like toxically competitive. So like when me and my daughter be playing these games, like, and she's 10, and there be times where I'm like, coach. I'm like, I'm sorry.
But also pick it up. Come on.
Because like the moving out game is just like how quickly you can move furniture out of houses like in a time limit. So I'm like,
what is this game? Why are there like games of like here's normal life? We're moving out. We're mowing grass. We're power washing houses. Why? Why are these games?
We're trying to prep us to farm again. We're going.
That's it. We're slowly regressing. Farmville, right?
We're going
huge.
And moving is
Yes.
one of the worst like experiences ever.
You
like,
never have a good experience moving. I've never met anyone that had like a pleasant moving experience.
I
It's
love
bad.
moving.
Did you?
Really?
We're staying here.
No, I hate collecting things, says the person who has a ton of shit on their wall, right? I hate having so many things. So moving gives me the best reason to purge. Like if I don't want to pack it, it's out.
Okay.
I do
I
like
love
throwing
that.
things
I do,
out.
yeah, I
Throwing things
understand
out
that
is great.
Yes,
Mhm.
I am an organizer, right? Like I like slow Tetris because then I get to organize things like where they all fit perfectly.
Yeah.
So moving is like, here's Tetris live. And then when I bring it into my space, I got to find a place where everything begins. And like, it's all fresh. It's clean. I've moved away from all of my problems and I'm 100%. They have no idea where I live now. It'll be fine. My therapist says that's not how you're supposed to handle things, but it is how I do.
So you're a gypsy. Got
Yeah. I'm just out. I'm moving.
You find
through
so much stuff that
it.
you
A bad
can
day
like.
at work, just pack up and
God,
move.
I'm out of here. I'm
I
out of here.
broke a
You
shoestring
ever
in the
find
office
things where
today.
you're
I'm
like,
out.
when did I buy this and why did I buy this?
Yes.
Like, what was I thinking at this time?
Or you see some shit, you don't even know what it is. You're like, what
Yeah.
is this? Like,
How does it work?
I
Does
don't
it
even know what
turn
the
on?
use for this is. Like, but
Still
no,
has the tag on there.
I love throwing things out. Like what? Like cleaning out a fridge? Oh, that's like
Uh-oh.
ASMR for me.
Yeah.
Just toss it out.
You're like, oh,
out.
this is in the trash. This is
Yes.
in the trash.
Yes,
And-
which
and
is
again-
why all my Tupperware are old, like takeout things, so I don't feel bad throwing those away. I don't
Yes,
use nice
yes.
Tupperware. It's like old yogurt containers and Chinese takeout containers.
I do like from a lot of like deliveries from different like Asian restaurants.
Yes.
I use it as a lot of as
What, yo,
They're great.
I hate making
Yeah,
this.
They're
it's great.
perfect size for a lot of
Yeah.
meal prepping. If
yes,
you do that.
yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Like, I bought this off of Amazon. Why? Order Chinese.
Yo, like I when I moved into my house, I like bought like a set of things, and then like the first like I want to say 2 weeks or something, I didn't go grocery store shop, so I just got deliveries, and all of a sudden I was like, well, I got my extra leftover Tupperware, like
Easy.
There you go.
you're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Consolidate it all.
Remove that
It's
from
a
my
very
cart.
efficient take. Yes. I don't need that.
Well, I had that yesterday. Check it out. Checking it all. So you mentioned that you didn't start Dungeons and Dragons until like later life. So
Yes.
outside of like Halo and stuff, like were there any other influences like when you were growing up that like made you the strong, powerful nerd that you are today?
I did speech and debate growing up.
Hey,
Oh,
Yes, yes.
I love arguing with people.
Yeah. It was part of it, but that was the culture, right? When you go into speech and debate, where it's about exploring yourself, about sharing stories, appreciating who you are, right? And I love that, and it was challenging, and it was in a space that taught me like how to represent myself, how to speak about the ideas that I like, and be able to, say, yeah, I want to play this game. All right, I'm going to talk about playing this game. It was the launching point for my career. That's it. That's it. Learning how to understand myself and then take that externally. That has been the key point of any success that I've had.
And would
Love
you say from like from taking those classes and those courses that like that naturally helped you transition to where you're at now in terms of just being behind the mic, being on camera, talking to people all the time, interviewing people all the time? Like, was that just something where you were like, all right, I'm really glad that, I took these because now this isn't as like jarring as it might have been before?
Very much so. Like learning on the job is very difficult. Let me be clear though, I was not a naturally good speaker. Like I was the person like, I'm going to throw up. And one time I did throw up. Or like I stumble so much that I would curse accidentally in front of people and be like, nah, 0. All right, you're getting last place in the speaking competition. You can't do that. You can't do that. Like I would go to the bathroom before I would go to a competition room, and I would have to talk myself down. I'd be like, okay, we can do this. Take a drink of water. I'd create routines, and I kept doing it. Right? People make fun of us, but like we were talking to walls, right? You do it again and again and again until that skill feels natural. And people think like, you're just a natural speaker. No, that ain't happening.
We got here.
Yeah. I spend hours talking to walls. I don't have a lot of friends, okay? Those walls know more of my secrets than anything else. But that was like,
you
it's
put
a
a
dedication.
Sharpie face on the
Yeah,
spot of the
maybe
wall
I
that
did.
you
Don't
watch
make
all
fun
the
of me.
that you talk to all the time.
Hey, it's
Listen.
a soft spot.
What you gotta do is you gotta do it.
Stick Steve is my best friend, okay?
Hey, look.
You leave him alone.
Shout outs to Stick Steve.
Yeah, Stick Steve.
Thank you for holding it down.
Now
We
you got to
appreciate
create bottom
Yeah.
bend.
But I think it's with anything bottom bend. Damn it! Why did I miss that opportunity? You gotta put yourself out there. Yeah, anything that's worth it. Like when you're passionate about it, it always takes vulnerability. It's gonna have to take you saying like, I'm serious about it. I want to invest in myself first and foremost, and then it comes into the business.
Yeah. And was that something that you enrolled yourself in, or was that like driven by your parents, or was it just more so like, hey, I know this is the path I want to go, so I need to fine-tune my
parents
skills.
were confused. My siblings were all in like soccer and swim team, and they're like, what are you doing? Like, okay, it was weird. I did the weird thing on that end. So it was definitely on me, and I was absolutely surprised when I found out I could get a scholarship for it, and that's why I moved into it. But that's part of it, right? Like even now when we see like, colleges are offering esports scholarships, it's finally like, this does have value. You see value in what I enjoy, and now it's worth investing in. And so I got the scholarship for it, and I was like, all right, who knows where this is going to go? And then I had a mentor who invested in me. And I think that's a changing point for a lot of us too, is when we have somebody who says like, I see something in you and you're worth investing in. It makes a world of difference. Not to be too heartfelt here, but
no, look, these are teachable moments. This is why we do this. Like this is why we do this.
It makes me think of how I can choose to invest in others these days. Like knowing how impactful that was, like I always want to give back. And that's when I bring that into the classroom. I'm like, I care about all my students, even if they fail. Like I get it. They're probably going through a lot. School isn't easy. I don't hold it against them if they don't get all A's. Right. They're here. They're trying. They've got life. It's complicated, but they're putting themselves out there, and I respect that vulnerability. They don't have to go to college, right? They don't have to choose this degree. There are places that could be easier pathways, because I know my class isn't easy. I know it's frustrating when they see that and it's not the grade that they initially wanted, right? So I see what they're going through, and I want to invest in them, because that's how we become better. That's how people stay into the career. And we get cooler, better stuff, more interesting, because more people can belong in this space.
I love that. That's going on my wall of fame of answers in terms of interview questions.
Thank you. Made it.
Yeah, no, you're on there. You're on there. Because we'll beat this drum all the time, but me and Trav say literally, if not every episode, every other episode, like that's literally why we started this podcast. Like, and the fact that we knew it was a niche market we could thrive in here. There's not a lot of people.
Own it.
But it's just the fact that it's just like we, instead of just sitting around and being like, dang, like we wish people like us like existed in this space. It's like, all right, why not us? Like if not us, then who? And we're waging a personal war against celebrities that do interviews, and when you ask them how'd you do it, they're like, yeah, if I could do it, you could do it. All right, but what did you do? So it's like when you say things, like about like mentoring people and like trying to find scholarships and stuff like that, like those are the nuggets that I feel like will help so many people, because like our generation, like the 90s babies, like the late 80s and the early 90s, like we just had a bunch of people who just said like, oh, if I could do it, you could do it. Believe in yourself. Never give up. Consistency. Like, all right,
Naruto.
Right, yeah. Like it literally was that. It's just like, yo, can you tell us like a phone number you might have called? Like a vocal coach you might have spoke to? Can you drop something? Like a acting program you enrolled into? Like you just telling us like, yeah, just never give up. Keep grinding. Like, bro, I don't even know where to start. Right. So it's like hearing you say those things, it makes me happy that there are other people out there that had those headspaces. Like, yo, like, all right, I made it. Like, by hook or by crook, I got here. I know that what I did is actually tangible and can be followed. Like, it's not like you did like unknown craft. Like, you just worked really hard. You did the research. You put it into practice. Like, that's something for somebody who, like you said, maybe isn't the best natural talker, who's like, damn, I would love to like get into like Twitch streaming and broadcasting, but I don't know how to speak to people. Like some people do think like, if I can't do this naturally, then I'm screwed. Like, well, guess I'll play soccer.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there we go.
Hey, but it's like, yeah, like you can learn that stuff. And I do like the aspect. Do you still, even though you're like locked in now and like you've gotten so much better, do you find that you still do get nervous like when you're Twitch streaming, or like when you're doing interviews and stuff like that?
Oh yes, every time. It's every time. That doesn't go away, but it's learning to manage it, right? Where I take it and I transfer it. I'm like, okay, all this anxious energy that I have, I'm gonna turn it into being engaged, having, facial expressions that allow me to express who I am, right? They're like, how are you so expressive? I'm like, it's because I'm anxious. I'm taking that energy
embrace the
and
butterflies.
I'm transforming it. Yes. As I mentioned, I'm a witch. So that's my magic. I take the anxiety and I hocus pocus it into something better.
1000%. No, I literally tell people all the time, like, embrace the butterflies. And I also have this weird warped sense that I feel like shit that makes you nervous, I feel like it's because you care about it. Like, if I didn't care, it would just be like, I'm gonna phone it in. Like, it is what it is. Like, just get on, hit record. Like Trav was saying, like, it's more than just hitting record and just talking to your friend for like a set period of time or a non-set period of time. Because like anybody can do that. Like, that shit that you do every day. But it's just like, I love when I get like that anxious. It's like, oh yeah, I'm ready for this. Like, I'm excited, and it keeps you locked in. Like, you're so conscious that you're gonna fuck up that you don't fuck up.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
He's like,
exactly.
oh shit, wait.
Well, I see you all working
name.
hard.
Like, Trav was locked in. He's like, no, I got this last name. I'm gonna get it.
Well, yeah, you work on it. This isn't just magically happening. There's effort. It's thoughtful. You guys review your work. There's a reason why this podcast is as fluid as it is, and it's not by accident, right? You make it look like it's easy, and that's part of the magic, but it isn't.
Don't tell him too much. Don't tell him too much.
Okay, sorry. Shh. Secret sauce. Keep that under wraps.
Don't let them know that me and Trav be out here grinding for real.
Said, yo, take off this mug. Like,
no.
I'm about to kick my power plug out. Shit, she let them know the sauce. Like,
so I don't even smoke, and I'm smoking this menthol right now. Shit.
Right. Just go stand outside of Chili's in the smoker section. You don't even smoke. You just secondhand nicotine bring the stress down.
Why Chili's though?
I don't know. I just feel like that's where the smokers be at.
They have great nachos.
Yeah, they're chicken crispers. Those are my shit.
No, I used to tear those things up, bro.
Yeah,
used to tear them chicken crispers.
Chili's is also better than Applebee's.
Listen.
That's not a hot take at all.
No,
good.
I like Applebee's just had more of their like half off deals and stuff like that that kind of like overshine. But no, I always that's not. I don't think that's
Applebee's.
I think Chili's is slept on, for being real.
In casual clothes. It's the same place.
What is that Olive Garden deal where you can buy like a free pass and it lasts for like a month or two, and you can go in and you can eat Olive Garden all the time.
What?
Oh, shit.
No. So have you not? It sells out every year.
So I do know that you can do like all you can eat options on the menu. I didn't know that they had like just come in and chow down. Like,
hold on.
Membership. Yeah, no, this is breaking news. Like, Mike, if you want to put in a breaking news sound right here.
Nah, between that and they're like just unlimited like breadstick stuff they always do. It's like their motto needs to be don't worry, you're not gonna starve because we'll give you the carbs. Like that's just literally Olive Garden.
It's like the pasta pass or something. My cousin,
crazy.
He does like marathons, so like he runs all the time and needs food.
Got a carbo load.
They would get it and they would go and eat all their meals there constantly, and it would last for like a month, and it's like you pay for the one-time thing and then all of it's free after that.
Wow.
I mean, because you paid for like the one time, but it's like the best coupon out there.
That's kind of dope.
Yeah,
Everyone's like, hold on, I gotta find this.
Yeah, like all the listeners hold on, let me pause this episode.
Let me look this up.
I'm saving for a wedding right now, so if I can
life is if y'all want to pause the episode and like go sign up for your shit, just come back. Just make sure you come back and finish the episode.
We won't be mad.
The pasta pass.
I'm taking note of that.
Yes.
Game changer.
Yeah, it's been going on for 25 years.
Wow.
That's crazy.
There you go. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Been living on this planet for 31 and I'm just finding
like
about this now. This is crazy.
That's crazy.
This isn't the same thing. I'll keep looking for it.
That's totally.
I'll update you.
That is a game changer. That is a game changer. Bringing it again to the game. Accidental segue.
Yeah.
So speaking of like your, with like your debate and public speaking, obviously that like has lent credence to like your time with like gameHERS and like your Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
How did that? Shout out to gameHERS, by the way. How did that relationship come in? Because we got a lot of friends over there.
Sure. It happened at a con, right? I went to PAX South. There they are sitting on the couch that they have. They always bring that couch and a couple little signs for the gamers. And I'm like, those look like people I want to talk to. And we did. We started. And it was actually right before they launched. I think it was like a month or 2 months before they were launching. I'm like, tell me, I love this cause. I love the values that you're doing, lifting women up in the gaming space, showcasing their careers that they have, the opportunities that are available, how women game and how complicated and how varied our lifestyles can be as we embrace the games that we have. I was like, bring me in, tell me anything, whatever you want. I'm all in on this. And I appreciate it. And it was absolutely fantastic. I first started off as an ambassador at that point. I was sharing out their content. We were doing giveaways, right? Kind of doing the good news. I was an acolyte. Just sharing the good news of the gameHERS, and it just continued from there, right? They were like, hey, we really like your stream, let's bring you in. And I was then the host of Pink Pixels right after Tactical Grandma. I don't know if you all met her. She's amazing. She's absolutely insane. She's a grandma on the internet who plays Call of Duty, and she's good.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah.
She's good. She's good.
I would love to pick her brain.
Absolutely. Listen, you let me know. She's fantastic, but she's all about like, she's your grandma. She's your internet grandma, and she'll kick your ass at Call of Duty.
That's amazing.
We have to get her on here.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Right.
Like that would be dope.
So for Pink Pixels, I did have like a question related to when you were just talking about the work that it took for you to be naturally comfortable behind the mic. What would you say are some things that you learned after your first season as the host of Pink Pixels that you're like, okay, I want to do this a little differently after seeing myself and seeing some of the interviews that I had? Like, what are some things that you were like, okay, this is what I want to like improve upon?
I wanted to become more loose, right? A lot where you all here are today is I first started off where I was having a lot more stronger list of questions. And I'm like, I want to make sure we're focused on gaming. But like where we are here, where it's much more free flow, we allow the conversation to peak where passions are really excited. It feels more natural and it's much more interesting. And again, it shows more of who we are as a person. Right. And I think that's a lot of problems, especially when we focus on things like, oh, we brought you on because you're a woman, or we brought you on because you're Asian, right? On that end, like, well, then they only are interested in me in that.
We brought you on because you're dope as fuck.
Well, I'm not for you all, but like there's other places where they brought like, you're the token woman on our panel.
The Rooney Rule.
We want to hit our quota of our DE&I campaign.
Our inclusivity bingo.
Yes.
Check the box.
Well, and then when you're brought on like that, then they only ask you questions of like, being a woman or being Asian, right? Like, and it's so narrow. I'm like, but I'm more than that. Like, it is part of me, right? And that's where I was like, I don't want to fall into that same gap. I want to see people for who they are, the complicated aspects and the intersectionality of all of the areas of how we exist and have our identities and how that plays a role. And so choosing that much more freeform is harder because now you got to rein in conversations. But you have to be able to react and talk about anything and everything that they might bring up. Or if you don't know what they're talking about, or you don't have a feeling, you have to already have an idea of how you're going to be able to handle those topics. It's more difficult, but it creates a better situation, a more 100%. Interesting conversation.
You really learn if you enjoy talking to people, because if you don't follow, like, if you don't follow like your strict set of questions and you're just kind of going with the natural flow of the conversation, if you don't like talking to people, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough.
Well, even more if you're not interested in people.
That's a big component as well.
A lot of people are great because they love hearing themselves talk, but like, you're not. No, then don't interview people. It's just
I was literally just about to say that because like it definitely exposes the people who are like just trying to get through the questions. Because it's like they're not actively listening. It's like, all right, I asked the question. I'm pretty sure they answered it. On to the next question. Pretty sure they answered it. Like, on to the next question. Because it's like you were saying, like with free phones, it's like, you know, we sent you the brief with the questions and we told you, like, please don't worry about coming up with answers to most of them. Because it's like, just in the context of us having a conversation, you're already answering a lot of the questions. It's like, all right, so she covered this. We didn't even got to ask it. On to the next thing. But it definitely, like Trav was saying, it definitely not only shows like if you really actually do like talking to people, but like if you really have like a passion for this, because it's like you actually are listening to the person. Like, so, you know, it's not just about like, we have a job to do here, and you know, having you on helps us, but it's like we just want to talk to you. And like you were just saying, which is a really big point, when you create like a persona as like a public, I hate the term public figure, but that's until they come up with a better one.
You have to put that in your LinkedIn bio. I am a public figure.
It makes you feel like such a fucking douche.
It does. Like,
you're like, I'm just me.
Like just a guy. Like, just sub that out. I'm just a guy.
A guy on the web.
Yeah. My Twitter bio used to be human being, and that was it.
Yeah, there you go. Like I just work here.
Yeah.
I just put that in my bio.
Nah, you just gotta change a dope human being.
Yeah, there we go.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Started from
Can
the
I get
bottom,
a
now
quote
we're
from you
Joaquin.
all? Actually, there we go. That's it.
Yes,
That's good.
Snuck another one in there.
It started from the bottom, but we rose from the ashes like a phoenix.
Joaquin.
Boosh.
He just put it there in parentheses. But like you were saying, when you create this alias, like, and people get to know you as that, and it is kind of like a very exaggerated version of yourself in your everyday life, like a caricature, if you will. It is so important. Or like we love to, like you said, highlight the human aspect of our guests. Like talk to them about shit that is way off the reservation from what they're known for. It's like, oh, Beck like that's too. I like that too. Right. Like just humanizing people. Like, you know, because I feel like as like content creators, like people just look at us as content, and like they don't really like look at it past. Yeah. They just don't look like past that point. It's like, oh, this is a podcast that I like to listen to. They exist in that space when I hit play. Outside of that, they don't exist. So like when I see us in person, it's like, oh, yeah, that's the guys who talk on DB4L. All right, cool.
Exactly.
Yes.
And like the way I think about it too, I want like for our interviews and the people that we talk to, let's say there's a con in Philly or something like that, and you happen to be in town and we link up. I don't want them to be like, wow, you're totally different from the person that we had the interview with. Like you this is not like, there's a reason why we want like to have these natural conversations, because also like we're learning about you, and then we also, you know, want to like you to learn about us as well, because it's just like we genuinely and naturally love getting to know people, love like learning about everyone's different stories, where they come from, their backgrounds. And so like, I would hate for it to, for then we see each other in person, it's like, okay, you're what? Like, who is this person?
Do I know you?
Yeah, like
hold on. I pull Trav to the side, like I don't think I like her very much, bro.
Yeah. That's okay if you already think that. That was not my goal.
When we had our pre-call, me and Trav, as soon as we got the call, we was like, "Oh, this is gonna be dope." Like we're locked in. Bro.
We're perfect. We're set. We're set.
We don't got to rehearse. We just gonna hit record, bro.
We haven't. Thankfully, we haven't left a pre-interview thinking like, this is gonna be, you know,
pulling teeth.
This is gonna be a day.
Right. And if there was any like pre-interviews or where we were like, all right, well maybe we'll have a brief that's gonna drive the conversation. Total opposite. It was like, oh, they came out of their shell. They were great. Like, and you know, we want people to feel that way, because, you know, listen, we're just a human being. Like literally just, we have mics, we have, you know, our computers, everything, and, you know, just happen to be talking to you as if like we were just like at a con or on, you know, you're on your stream, and we just happen to pop in like, yo, what's going on? Like, you know, so.
Well, and that's the thing. We can talk about anything. Like if we would just the entire time only talked about Chili's and went down all the menu items.
It could have went that way.
We could have. It's easy. They have a massive menu. It wouldn't be hard, and we wouldn't even have to touch their extensive drink menu as well. Chili's, contact us for sponsorship.
Look, just come get us. Chili's, come get us.
Come on. But like the idea isn't just so much we're talking about Chili's, but we get to hear about how we talk about things. It's our opinions on things that lets us know that we're human. Just like in other relationships that we have, we could always talk about just the big topics. But as humans, it's the little things too that tell us about who we are, how we approach and see the world. That's equally important in how we engage. Content is all around in its era, is in an era of authenticity. We want to know who people are. We want to know your actual expressions, your feelings around things. Like we don't want hawked out messages of like some actor dressed as a doctor says, yes, this is great for you. We want to hear from actual people. Right? We want to hear from people who have tried it, who've gone through it, the pros and cons. That's why a lot of us, when we even look at reviews, we don't trust the 5 stars. We go straight to the 4 and 3 stars.
Yeah.
Those are going to be the ones that are giving us true. Yeah.
Yeah, because especially the ones that are sitting up at the top. Oh, this was great. No flaws. All right, social media manager
on this film.
Yeah.
You received like 10 negative reviews, and you were told to, you know, kind of even out the overall rating on Google. It's all right. We understand.
Yeah.
But that actually pulls up a very interesting thought about. For some reason, I feel like we tend to gravitate more towards the people who just like who did stumble a bit. I don't know if it's like a humanizing thing, but it also is less like I don't know if I necessarily trust someone who's only ever won. Because it's like, I don't know how you respond to controversy. Like, I don't know like how you bounce back when shit goes bad. Like, you might just crumble. Like,
well, then you found the right person, because I have failed a lot. So let me tell you.
No, but I feel like there's a relatability factor to that. It's just like, oh, cool. All right, so I might slip up on my journey to this, but it's like kind of using like your failures as a blue point. All right, Bex messed up here, Matt messed up there, Trav messed up there, but they were able to recover. Versus somebody who's just like winning. And I feel like because we're all super skeptical, it's just like, oh, they're an industry plan. Yeah, like you just getting all these W's. Like your uncle works for somebody.
Hold on. But that's what makes it relatable, right? Like I don't relate to the people who've had everything handed to them or has everything that's perfect, right? All right. I knew this girl in college, she was always happy and she smiled all the freaking time. And he was like, oh, she's happy. Who wouldn't love that? I'm like, no. It was at a Baptist school. I don't think so, actually. But it was Jesus.
Look, Jesus is a drug.
Yeah. And, maybe it was real for her, but for me, like, that's not relatable. I can't relate to just having only one emotion and being happy all the time. I'm like, I have all of the emotions and all of them are valid and all of them are good. My wins are just as important and valid as my losses, right? I pay attention to both of them. They're both descriptive of who I am and the experiences that I've made. So yeah, I guess I do turn my failures into important moments and I brag about them.
as you should.
Right. But like, even because when we stream, right, we talk forever. Like I'm streaming 4 hours and I'm talking forever. I'm going to say something stupid. And I tell my chat, call me out on it. Tell me if I say something incorrect or if I say something like, hold on, maybe that wasn't the nicest thing, right? Like, let me know, because that's something that I want to continue to grow. It's not that I have mistakes and we just live there. It's like I have mistakes and you are interested because you see me improve. That's the journey that's interesting. It's the fact that I'm improving.
All right, so people got to embrace the L's. They got to like, if someone was just smiling and like just happy all the time, I would actually be concerned. I would just be like,
yes. Heck, we know Barbie now doesn't just smile, right? Like
she has even emotes now.
Yes. Barbie's changing the world. Apparently the Barbie TV show even before that was really also like all about changes and telling good stories.
My older daughter, who isn't really like a girly girl, so to speak, whatever that means. Like she wasn't really into like Barbie dolls or anything, but that show on Netflix, she would like be locked in. Sometimes I'd catch an episode like, I really learned a lot today.
Yeah, like, I'm also feeling pretty good.
I feel like making a change today.
It reminds me of how often, like, with different shows, they can be just cut off because, like, oh, it's Barbie. It like even when we were growing up, like some people are like, anime, it's cartoons, right? It's not real storytelling. And good stories, good lessons can come from anywhere. My favorite crossover was my brother shared with me the comic. It's the Transformers and the what is the ponies? Not
My Little Pony.
My Little Pony. My Little Pony and Transovers. Yes.
What?
Yes.
That's crazy.
And the messaging is similar. It makes sense. Everything that you would hear in My Little Pony is what you would also hear Optimus Prime saying.
Damn.
It's just in a deeper, more metallic voice.
Okay.
Damn. Okay. we open up on nerd.
Listen, if you like Transformers, you will like also My Little Pony.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love Transformers growing up.
I support this.
Yes. Roll out Autobots.
Roll out.
I mean, that's such a like, especially with the anime front. Like now, thankfully, a lot of my friends are now like heavily into anime, because for the longest time before, it was like, why are you watching those cartoons? I'm like, yo, I'm telling you right now, these cartoons have like some of the best writing that I've ever watched. Like, anything.
Plus, we've seen the live actions.
But live actions, like,
not the best.
I've not seen one successful live action.
Not one.
They just gotta stop. It's okay.
Yeah. The visuals for Death Note were cool. The Xiaomi,
I'm holding out hope for One Piece. I'm holding out hope.
Oh,
it looks good. It looks good.
It does.
But I'm also ready to be severely disappointed.
Yeah.
But I'm holding out hope. Because like Cowboy Bebop, man, I wanted to like that so bad.
Oh, it started off good.
It did.
And then
John chose the man. Like, I love him, but it was like it teetered off.
It was the perfect casting choice for it, right? Like they get something right. Like casting was great, or the visuals look great. It didn't, and then it goes. dead.
And it sucked because it's like I loved the fact that they like explored Spike and Vicious's like relationship more in the live action, because like in the anime, like you got like literal flashbacks, like shots, not even scenes, like shots, and you would have to like try to figure. All right. So did Vicious sleep with Julia too? Like what she? I'm so confused.
Pause that for a real second.
You gotta pause it. Wait.
It's like, hold on.
She's for the
they should,
not Julia.
Anytime you change mediums, it should change. And I know some fans hate that. They want, scene for scene, frame for frame sort of space. That doesn't work. We know when we goes from manga into anime, there's already changes, right? It's massively different on that end, and many levels. Like that's why Full Metal Alchemist got a redo with Brotherhood. Right? One Piece is not the same between the two of them, right? We know this. Like the pacing of it's different, the depth, right? It's a different take. They're similar. The story is right. The core of it is the same. And so when we move to live action, it should be different, but it shouldn't be worse. Is the problem?
That's fact. And that's actually a really good point. I feel like when they try to keep it 1-to-1, that's when it looks hokey and terrible.
Yeah,
it's just like I didn't need you to try to recreate that with real people. This looks dumb. Just change the story. Like switch it up. Like give us an OVA live action. Like just make it a whole new story. Switch it up. But we're keeping our fingers crossed for One Piece. We're going to be optimistic.
I still have to watch One Piece in general. I just haven't found the time.
I stopped at Alubara because at that point I was like, I can't keep this up. The show is taking too long. It shouldn't take 100 episodes to get to a good part.
It's a lot. Angry. It's a lot. My cousin like started it from scratch during like peak COVID, and I was like, bless your soul. You're a strong man. But
have they caught up yet?
Yeah, no, he literally got through it in like a year. Like I don't know how. But I was like, bro, you haven't. When do you go to work? And he was like, when I would be at work, I'd have it on my phone, just like headphones in. Like,
in all fairness, there's a lot of filler episodes you could probably just work right through.
I did actually start like when I'm like, how do I make the elliptical more fun? I was like, all right, I can watch anime while I'm on it. So that's
a desperate question. How do I make the elliptical more fun?
You just staring at the joint, dreading it, like
because I have two surgeries on my knee, one on my hip, so running outside really ain't in the picture. I was a sprinter in high school. I'm not a long distance, so I'm like, all right, how do I get this?
Like, I got short spurts. I got you.
That's it.
Short spurts, I'm dirty. But to keep us here with like the Twitch streaming, or to kind of start to blend into the D&Ds, I know we're gonna be there for a little bit.
Listen,
Trav had mentioned that now like a lot of the people that we grew up with are starting to like get into anime, where before it's just like, why are you watching that cartoons, stuff like that. And a big part of also why we started this podcast is to try to be like the medium for like the very standoffish OG anime manga fans who don't want to welcome in new people. And it's like, no, like if we all love the same thing, like let's love it. Does tabletop gaming,
and we get more of it.
Yeah.
You know how many animes I got invested in, and because there weren't enough people interested, they got canceled? I'm like,
Drifters.
That's not talked about
Trav
enough.
was about to talk about Drifters. He still heard about that to this day.
Dead Man Wonderland. I want more of that.
Oh my god, Dead Man Wonderland. What?
Right.
That show was fire. And it ended on like a cliffhanger type of thing.
Yes, it did. It wasn't even an ending.
It's like, damn, bro.
I feel very passionate
next
about
time.
this.
Like,
yes,
it
was good.
Yeah, that show was so great. But does
you guys welcome everyone.
Does tabletop gaming have like that same like, we was doing this way on, you trying to get into it now? Because I remember like when Stranger Things came out, and when Joe Magna, however you say his last name, had like mentioned that he has like a celebrity D&D.
Magna Bottom.
Yeah, Magna Bottom. Joe Magna Bottom. Alcide from True Blood. That's what we'll call him. When he had came out, I was like, I play D&D with like Vin Diesel and Vince
Vin Diesel's been into D&D for a long time. Yes.
So I would imagine that, now there's probably like an insurgence of like new D&D fans. Do you see that there's like that type of divide with like tabletop gaming? Like, you didn't play this back when it wasn't cool. Don't try to like it now.
There are some people out there. I think more so is that I encounter some old school D&Ders who don't like how some people are asking for changes and evolution in the story. Like they're not so much mad that people are there. So for example, right, even Baldur's Gate just came out and D&D 5e is still here, right? There's still a lot of touching in and inclusion of racism in there. Like, well, why do we need to have fantasy racism? What is the role that it plays, right? Which, right, like that's an important question that we ask. And there's somebody like, it's just how it is. This is the lore. If you don't like it, go to another place, sort of thing. But it's as like, with anything, critique is, well, they're on 5e, right? Clearly they've changed at least 5 times. No, more than that, right? Because there was a half change in there. So like they do change. They understand that that's part of the evolutionary process. But people forget, like when we critique things, most of the time, especially from us, it's like, because I want to keep playing it. I think there's potential there. Just evolve it to continue to become better. Right. So I think the hardest part, though, of where people can't seem to get in is finding a group, right? And finding a group that's the right table, because there's no wrong way to play D&D, but that means there's so many different ways that people want to play D&D. So finding the table that matches you and your energy and how you want to play is going to be the hardest part. Even if you join any LFG, like, yeah, we've got an open spot, but like they're min-maxing everything. And you're like, I just wanted to be the stupid turtle, right? That gets everything wrong, right? Like there's a different approach to that. Like your teammates aren't going to like you. I want to run hardcore and we're going to, kind of run the edge between evil and good. I want to explore that. Another person's like, I am only good. I will end up killing your team. Like if you run this way, like you've got to find the right match. That's hard. You got to find your glass slipper that's going to fit. And those are rare. It's rare. It's hard to find those elements.
Yeah.
Because I would imagine that there's probably not as much now, but especially maybe like early 2000s, 90s. It's not a lot of people who are like holding out signs like, yo, I play D&D, who trying to get down. Like it's probably like,
find us.
It's probably like us, you bump into someone, they drop, they die by accident. It's like, oh shit, you play D&D? It's like,
I don't know what that D20 looks like.
I know what that is.
Let's see what you're rocking with. Okay. Pull out my own little set.
Right. It was like,
is it a matter of like trial and error to find that group that you feel naturally comfortable with when playing, or like is it just kind of just doing research and seeing like what group, like just seeing like different communities online?
Are you allowed to like guild hop? Is that allowed?
It's like I'm out of here. So you can one shot it, right? I love to do one shots to be like, let's test this out. Let's also just have fun, do something easy. If we like the chemistry and energy of the group, we move forward with it. If it ain't great, then we move on, right? That's sort of thing, and that's okay, right? It doesn't necessarily mean somebody's bad. It just means this wasn't the type of game that they wanted to play at the end of the day. So it's okay to do one shots as a starting point. The big burden though is on the dungeon master, your DM. Like they should be forward of like, hey, we're doing horror. Yeah, you can have some comedy, but I want this to lean to be much more dramatic. I want you to be serious. I want you to be scared about things and what we're going in. And I'm going to tell you, like, there's going to be eye gore. There's going to be teeth gore. You're going to see decay, right? Like I'm going to give you a heads up of the things that you might encounter so you can decide if this is the right fit for me. Essentially like a movie trailer, right?
Yeah.
Like when you look at it, you're like, yes, that's for me. Or no, I don't want to shit my pants today, right? That's that's where you got to decide what's that fit. And so a DM needs to have an idea of how do we lead that kind of story and what kind of table do I want to sit at? And it comes from everything. Like, do you want romance? Like, that can be really awkward, right? There's some people that handle that very poorly, and this is not the playing ground for you to figure out what dating should look like. And then others will allow that, right? Like, hey, I understand.
Have you had any awkward encounters
yes. Yes. You don't even finish that question. Yes.
You had to have like, yo, bro, you had to peek up like, yo, we're playing a game, bro. Like,
yeah. Hold on.
Like, start.
Because we get invested with their characters, right? Like especially once you start doing a long-term campaign, like you've put hours, right? One session can often start like at 4 hours minimum, right? And so if you've done 3 sessions, that's 12. I'm showcasing my math skills because I was embarrassed later.
You had to bring it back.
Yeah. Look at that. See?
You said, look, no. Y'all not going to catch me slipping again.
Like, no.
Everybody gets one.
I know my multiplication.
Boom. So what would you say is like the secret sauce to like us being a successful dungeon master? Because I feel like that is a very high stress, like high activity like job. Like I know there's a reason why a lot of people don't sign on to do that role. Yeah. Like when it comes to games. So what's like the secret sauce?
The secret sauce to being a good DM is getting out of the way of your players. It is not a you versus them. It's how do I elevate their experience? How do I make it awesome for them? I give them the experience that they're looking for. How do we evolve? How do I also check in with my players to make sure they're good? A lot of DMs, like they hide behind their screen, but you got to check in with them. How are you feeling? How's your character going? Are you happy where your character's at right now? Right? What are some challenges? What's the next arc of your character that you want to evolve? Especially if you're working with new players, they may not know what's on the table for them to do or how they can continue to evolve. So you have to really make sure you're opening doors for them, but not in game. Make them roll to open the door.
Right. Yes.
We understood that, Jim.
Have you coached anyone who's become a dungeon master, and like whether they've spoken to you on the side or
you take
kind
credit
of like
for all their success?
Their success is mine. I have an empire of dungeon masters.
Like now they're a dungeon master and they're just like, no, this is a lot more than I was actually anticipating. Then you'd be like, come here. Let me,
come to Mother.
Let me help you.
There's not really so much of a layers of like mentorship. There's just, we become a collective group, right? DMs are traumatized by our players, so we often have to bond together at that point. We're all then on the same level.
We have group meetings.
Yes, like, are you okay?
My name's Greg and I'm a DM. Hi, Greg.
Yes, exactly. But then we connect, right? Or we answer questions and we guide each other in that process. Like, hey, what are you thinking? Or I'm running this new system. Or hey, I'm getting ready to do a new show. What do you think of this encounter? If I run this new homebrew rule, what might you think of that and how it can play out? It's so important to have some resonating because your players should not be the guinea pigs. Because trust me, they will break it in the worst possible way.
That's crazy. Is there a way to like trial and error being a DM without having active players? Like talking about like the guinea pig aspect of it. I guess because I would imagine like with everything, training, practice makes perfect.
Yes.
Like, how does that look? Like, does a DM just call other DMs like, yo, sit in with me while I rehearse my script and everything?
Yeah, I've done a few trial runs as like I had a friend who's a DM. He's like, I'm getting ready to do the show. Would you hop in? Yeah, I'll do it. Because DMs never get to play players. So we get really excited when we get to be
You're
like,
right.
I would love to do that. So getting DMs to play is not the hard part.
Solid.
We're desperate. Please, somebody ask me to
let me play.
I don't want to have to plan.
Yeah, that's the part that would have got me. Like the presentation and the fun part signed me up, but like I actually got to set up the game for everybody. That ain't me, bro. Trav, we got to DM together, bro. We got to be co-DM.
It's fun. Co-DMing is very fun. And like, do you know like the type of space that you're DMing is hard, or sometimes like if you're doing a show, like I've got an audience, which means and that's where you got to tell your table, right? Like, listen, this is a table, you guys can do a lot, but at the end of the day, I only have so many assets planned, right? Like I have to pay for art for the different NPCs and the maps we use. So yeah, you can't technically go anywhere because I'm not going to have a map for it. And we know this is a show for our audience. So like knowing there's a difference between a D&D game at home that you play with friends, whether it's online or in person, versus a D&D show. Different outcomes, different collaboration, different standards.
Are those more scripted? Like, is it like, so total random aside, YouTube wormhole.
Yeah.
I saw that they do like live Yu-Gi-Oh battles, but they're like rehearsed. Like it's like scripted. It's like they know what cards are coming, so they can like give like the exposition.
It's like a show?
It's like a stage play.
To talk more about the strategy. Like, okay, so you can see this.
So it's like, it's two people dueling, but like they're, clearly they know how to duel. Like they're clearly duelists, but they're kind of like, they're performers. Like they know what's coming. They know like, so that they can explain. Yeah, it's like explaining the strategy, but kind of making it like the TV show. Like, I played this card, it does this. That's why it works here, like type of situation. So like with D&D, like live performances, is it actually just like a live game and like whatever happens, or like is there more like scripted action going on? Because you're obviously trying to like appeal to the crowd who's like watching, make it excited for them.
it does tend to still lead towards the live portion. Like the DM might say, by the end of this episode, right, we need to make sure we get to this building just for the sake of moving forward enough on the timeline of that. Or like, at least, we have to move in this general direction. Or for example, this is going to be an episode that's going to be much more RP heavy. So it's going to give them a heads up like, okay, just get into your mindset that you are going to have freedom to say and talk, and there's going to be less dice rolling, right? So there's going to be a little bit of a balance to give them a framework of how they can approach it. And that's going to be very helpful. Like, go ahead and indulge in this moment. Go ahead and move forward from this moment. That's the goal of leaning towards it. Versus when you're at home, it's like, well, we don't have to put on the show for anyone else. We can spend as much or as little time on a particular scene as we want to. That's that.
Does a good dungeon master do the accents? Do they do the voices? Is that like if you want to be great, you have to do the impersonations?
It helps. It helps. You don't have to, but it helps build the world building, because that's what a DM does. Like, you are a world builder. And so many think like, if I just describe it. Like, no. As human beings, we're sensory oriented. Yeah. Like,
Very. What if they just like?
When I do them here in my house, you've seen like the Lord of the Rings voiceovers where they do it for the orcs. Meat's on the menu, boys, right?
Yeah.
And they do like very cute, fluffier voices rather than like the orc like meat's on the menu. You got to change it up, and that helps with understanding the world. When I do it here in my house, I also add lights. Sometimes I'll even send different candles, right? We add in music.
Incense
yes. Yeah. I've been wanting, so anybody can steal this. I think there's actually another TTRPG out there, but I want to do a horror one that's focused on if your light goes out, you're dead. And I want to give each person a candle. And they have to finish the campaign before their candle goes out. And there's also going to be challenges like a wind blows by. And so somebody has to blow out your candle, right? Or blow at it. And if it goes out, you're out.
That's
right?
crazy.
Right? Like there's
fire.
Different ways you want to integrate in fears and experiences that they can have. And voices is one of them. It helps us picture and get an understanding of the image. That's why some people bring in pictures of like, here's what this NPC looks like, right? That way we have a better idea of how we might interact and see how they engage in the world around them. So I would say, do voices. Is it going to seem silly? Yeah, who cares though? And as the DM, if you want your players to be just as involved, you have to put yourself out there too.
So you're putting yourself out there doing those voices. Would you say that was one of the key catalysts for you voicing a character in a video game?
So it was more of that speech and debate.
Travis.
Right, nice. It certainly gave a lot more leeway and helped me build out more of my resume in the voice acting space. Like, people then started hearing it and said, oh, yeah, you should do voiceovers, right? Oh, you've got potential there.
Like, so when I do Kiki, it's a very different voice. She's very adorable. This might also be a voice that you hear more like in animes of really cute characters that come through. Like, it's a little support, and she loves the hero and will do anything for him, right?
That sort of thing.
That was trippy, and I love it.
That was a natural transition.
And that's the reel for this episode.
Right? So people are like, oh, you could do something with that. Like, you can use these in different places. Like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that. So I started putting my reel together. And because this was out in public, I would even have people send me tweets like, hey, this person's looking for voice actors. You should put your name into the hat for this. And so that really evolved as one step into the other. Yeah.
How did that feel? That first moment, like hearing you like on a video game?
Oh, it was wild. Like, oh, that's my voice. That's my voice. I'm like, I can't believe it. It was crazy. And the fact that the first voice they picked me up for was Hel. Right, the goddess of death, right? In Viking Rune 2, Decapitation Edition. I was like, yes, pull me in.
What a title.
And like, she had this deep voice. Role I was made for. Yes. It was so much fun. And then they liked it. They're like, listen, do you want to do 5 more voices? So I did 5 other like little NPCs. It was fun.
Awesome.
Like, we had Brewmaster, Brunhilde, or something like that, right? Like, so we pull in all of these voices, and they're like, yeah, go crazy, have fun with them. Think Monty Python voices. And so we got to have a fun time with it. And that's the thing, is when you do voices, the voice helps indicate. And that's also, I'm gonna caution people to think about when you choose accents. What are we picking up from it? Why are we choosing it? Are we leaning on stereotypes when we choose certain accents? And why?
That's I like that a lot. And it kind of goes back to what you were saying before about like a good dungeon master, like also like knowing like it's the you show, but it's not like the you show. Like you're like doing this for the gamers and like don't try to be like be the center of attention.
Yes.
Because I would imagine that's probably like a very common thing that you get dungeon masters that is like, all right, it's my time to shine.
Yeah, here we go. Let me show off all that I can do. And some are so talented, it's hard to pull them out. Like Matt Mercer is the biggest name out there, right? He's huge. He's fantastic. Does Critical Role. Well, he used to do Critical Role, right? And their height and fame. There's what they call like the Matt Mercer effect, where people think like that's the standard. And even though he's so good, like he worked, you can see him in his show, like choosing to try to take step backs constantly, even though in his moment where he create the characters, phenomenal. I mean, he's a voice actor, right? Of course he's going to nail it every single time. But he chooses to try to actively pull back. How do I get myself out of the scene so that way it is their scene? It's hard. It's hard because you also want to have fun. You see them having fun and you're like, I want to play too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't fake the funk. You know, you have to make it a welcoming environment. And I just think too that, you know, learning about these different communities, it's refreshing because, you know, it's just everybody has something that they can find peace and just like be able to be themselves in. And I think that's what's great about, you know, being a nerd or being in nerd culture, because it's a lot of people who probably felt like they weren't accepted to others, and now they can hop into the space and be like, oh yeah, this is Trav. Like I don't need to, you know, conform to how, you know, whether it's parents, friends, whatever, or people that you know, my peers. This is just me, and seeing like, you know, like a dungeon master that wants to like, all right, let's all embrace this. Let's embrace it all. Listen, it's beautiful to see, I must say.
Absolutely.
Every experience that we have in a game, in Dungeons and Dragons, they are just as valid as any other real life experience that we have. We learn about ourselves. And I'm going to say tabletop role-playing games, right, as a whole, not just Dungeons and Dragons, but it's a chance for us to better explore ourselves. For many people, right, it's a chance for you to present yourself in the way that you've always wanted to be presented. I know for a lot of my trans friends, right, TTRPGs is a way in which they got to explore their identity and feel like they belong. For some, it's also romance, or for some, like, it's trauma, and we learn how to talk through it or experience it. Even jokingly, right? Like, some learn how, like, this is how you should date, and this is also not how you should pick up people, right? Like, it's learning basic social interactions, like nah,
don't do that in the real world.
It's not good. It's not effective, right? Like, there's certain ways in which we can learn how do we function in the world around us? How do we see ourselves and the relationships that we build? It's so important.
Yeah.
They're meaningful.
No, that's another good point, because like you said, you are entering a fantasy world per se, but there are things that you can take from this that you can apply in the real world. And also, remember, it's a fantasy world, so we also still want to relax. Right. Like you said, you know, maybe you know, that might not slide in the dating space in the real world, so we can still use this as a teachable moment while at the same time still living within the fantasy. But it is important to have that delineation between the two, I think.
I'd be real interested to know, like, in the world of the thespians, they refer to it as the thespians. I too am an actor.
An actor.
They refer to it as like a showmance, and it's basically like a big reason why a lot of Hollywood marriages don't work out is because like actors fall in love with the characters that each other are playing, and they call it a showmance. I wonder if in D&D do people like fall in love with like each other's like characters, and like it like turns into a romance, but it's just like in the real world, they're like, you're not like your elf. Like, I don't know.
Right.
Like, I wonder if that happens.
You're not the dragon slayer I married.
Like, I wonder, because I feel like
never go to dungeons with me anymore.
Why don't you take me on raids? I bet Johnny went. Did you go with Johnny?
Yeah. You taking your other friends? Great.
Johnny did.
Your other adventure party. Go. Yeah.
You know what Johnny doesn't do? Doesn't drop the loot, Karen. Oh man, it's so good. It's so good.
No, there's got to be those. I guarantee somewhere out there. I mean, I know people get married because they met in their D&D and they fell in love. I'm like, that makes sense actually.
that they would
That
like
makes
fall in love
sense.
with each other's characters.
Yeah.
Like, well,
gotta
here's
have a
the
lifelong
D&D
campaign.
couples that you guys are still going. Like,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
campaign is still going.
They just got to keep that going.
Like,
You can
that's
never end the
regular.
campaign.
Don't let anyone blow out your candle. You
Yeah,
know?
yes.
Bring it all back. So I want to, before we like open up the floodgates and just let you go full D&D Dungeon
yeah.
Master, give us the D&D for dummies. I gotta ask the question: do D&D players and Warhammer 4K players have a beef? Is that like a East Coast West Coast thing? Like you do one or the other? Are
Yes
you allowed to
and no.
cross
Like,
over?
I'm gonna throw one more into the mix too.
Yeah, please.
Pathfinder.
Oh yeah.
Pathfinder, yeah, they're also a little bit. Wait, there's a little. It's more of like the same take of like PC versus Xbox, right?
Mm,
PlayStation sort of attitude, but there's a general respect. Listen, if you want to paint minis, you do Warhammer. If you want an insane amount of lore, right, Warhammer. If you want to get really into min-maxing and all of the different channels and rolling a ton of dice, that's going to be Pathfinder, right? Like you got to know, like, what is it that you want out of the game? Then that's what it is, right? That's why it's the best. I mean, I'm not going to fight Henry Cavill on this.
I was
but-
about to say, I mean, Superman makes a pretty strong case.
I know.
Well, I mean, the
You're like,
formerly known as Superman. Sorry, buddy. The wound's probably still fresh, Henry. I'm sorry.
It is.
But then
He's
just
gonna
look-
get his. He'll get his own show, right? When does Warhammer? Yeah, when does that come out? They're doing a whole TV show around that.
Yeah, I
It'll
did
be
see that. You know, with the
Yeah.
strike and everything. I don't know,
Yeah.
like if it's got like
I
delayed
don't
or
know.
pushed back, but I definitely remember that. I saw the trailer for it. I was like, this doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
It'll be okay.
alright.
Well, with
Yeah,
the
alright.
success of the Dungeons and Dragons movie, it's like okay, yeah,
I'm
we're gonna
not
invest in one
mad
of
at
these.
that film. I
It's-
enjoyed it.
It's fun. It was fun.
I liked it a lot. And I remember the one with Marlon Wayans, and I liked that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, yeah. Well, a lot of people think like Dungeons and Dragons, it's Lord of the Rings. It's like, no, you and your dumb idiot friends are gonna fail pretty often, right? Like that's what it is. You're gonna have all the silly goofs around it and the heart. Like honestly, that matched more of what we see at most tables. I appreciate how they went about on the Dungeons and Dragons movie. I was
Yeah,
real
no.
worried. Also, the pacing of it was fantastic. How many storylines, little like
Yo, so many.
arcs they fit in? Dang!
So
I was
many.
like, they wrote this well.
So many. Yeah, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen it yet.
Mm.
Like when I won't say names and I'll be very vague because I don't know if Trav, I don't know if you've seen it. But like
Nah,
Man,
me
Me
too.
too. Me too.
when homie betrayed him and like took his daughter, did not see
Mm.
that coming.
Man, when man, homie.
It's a lot.
Didn't
It's
see
like
that
this perfect
coming.
twist.
I
And
was
yet
like,
all
wait.
the characters are comedic in their own way. Even the scary character, it's like,
Yeah,
made
yeah.
fun of
Oh,
herself.
The witch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
She was hilarious. I laughed
Yeah.
at her the whole time.
it was fantastic. And she still was absolutely terrifying and scary looking, but it was hilarious.
I'm like, man,
everyone.
do you blink ever?
Yes. No.
Like,
Even the most like with the heroic style character who comes in for part of it and leaves them like you imagine like he would have fit in the Lord of the Rings, but they still even made fun of him like because everything can be funny in D&D.
yeah, like when he just like walked off. Like,
That apparently was
leaves the
accidental.
movie.
They would like he didn't hear them cut, and so
Oh,
he
shit,
just
for
kept
real?
walking.
He
Yeah,
just kept walking.
Oh.
That's hilarious.
yeah. Trev, when you see that, you're gonna know like okay, that's
Okay.
a little improv extra.
That was yeah, and like he didn't go around the rock. He just
No, just walked over it. I'll just keep going, I guess.
Hey, so they told me to stop.
It's a great approach.
Right.
It's very in
That was,
character.
that was good. That was good. All right, so look, I know we keep saying like one last thing that we're gonna go
Yeah,
for
one last
D&D.
thing. Yeah.
Because I gotta give you your flowers, and I also want to know how you do it. Because this is a skill that I do not have, and I'm in awe of people that have it. Talking and playing video games at the same time is hard as shit. And I don't know how Twitch streamers not only talk, play games, but
Beat me
also
to it, man. I need
interact
to
with
know.
their chat. I need to know how you do it.
Yes.
Because I can't talk and like have a conversation with someone in the room. I'm like, yo, chill. Let me do this real quick. Like, all right, give me a second.
especially an intense boss fight. Yo,
What?
don't talk to me at all. Like leave me
Yeah.
alone. Like I'm like
What? You pause it. What do you want?
It's stream of
deliver-
thought. Just
like
let it all
delivery's
flow.
here.
Yeah.
Yo, just leave it at the front door. Leave it at the front door.
Yeah. Just put my plate on it. Leave it in the microwave. Leave it in the microwave.
I'll be there later. No. This is it. I'm focused. Oh yeah. Talking for some of those actually helps me out. Like if you see some of my play, it's me even making the gun noise. I'm like, because it helps me feel more into like, right? You got to make it because when you make the gun sounds, it makes it hit harder. I'm pretty sure about that. Again,
There you
witchy
go. It does
magic
more
coming in
damage.
here.
Does more magic.
Yes, that's how it is. I was honestly inspired by that from Borderlands. A lot of their guns make very strange noises. I don't know if you know there's a gun that screams. and every time you shoot it, it screams like the entire time. And I was like, that's me. That's my life and how I play games.
I want to voice that gun one day.
Yes. I was like, that's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Listen, if you want a collection of great vocal usage and audio, Borderlands is it. They are incredibly creative with their sounds. I don't know who's on their team there, but kudos to you because you nailed it. So when I play video games, like it's just a stream of thought. Everything that I'm doing, like, oh no, don't do that. I'm like, I'm talking to my character as I go through. Like, I'm gonna run over here. There's also a reason why I don't play certain games. So like, I'm really into Destiny 2. I love it. I think Bungie does a great job testing things out. But I don't do like the big raid. I'll do dungeons. I'll do other lighter ones. But like when I'm in the raid, I'm like, I know I gotta shut my mouth because I'm playing with other people and they don't want to hear me talk constantly. I'm like, I know when I gotta be a good player. For my teammates versus when I need to be a good content creator.
The dungeon master skills.
Yeah, you gotta switch.
The balance.
Know what's right for the situation.
I would assume certain games require a little bit more attention and less entertaining.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yes. That's why I don't play Call of Duty. Or if I do, it's zombies, right? And that's it.
That's everybody.
Yeah.
I'll probably say 55% of Call of Duty fans just play zombies.
Oh, yeah. That's the best mode. Who wouldn't want to play zombies? Come on.
Right. I mean, they used to have some dirty story modes. I mean, I was sick when they took it out the one game. I was like, ew, I don't want this. It's like online play is cool, but it's overstimulation nation. Like I had to really be in the mood to like play online because it is so much. It's like, all right, I need a break.
Taking off the headphones. We're out of this. No.
I'm about to go play Animal Crossing. This was a lot.
There you go. I'm gonna go pull some weeds and chop down some trees. See y'all later. Baby. Yeah, that's
coming back. It's coming back.
Ready for this lifestyle.
It's on the way. But if anyone doesn't tell you, you'll hear it from me and Trav. We have nothing but the utmost respect for you as like a gamer who has to also like entertain an audience and do the chat.
100%.
Man, that is a skill that does not get highlighted enough as something that like, especially people who do it at your level, you make it look so flawless and easy. It's just like I can't get through a sentence while playing the game.
One time, go pick up the fucking couch.
Made my blood boil thinking about it just now.
Listen, we
got silver because you couldn't pick up the couch.
And we always say that whenever we have guests on, they're forever a friend of the show. So what we got to do is we have to, Matt and I, we're gonna find a game that we think we can manage while talking. And we would love to live play with you one time.
That would be great.
You name it.
Hell yeah, let's do that.
Listen, I'm in 100%. Heck, if you guys ever want to do a one shot, you let me know. Yeah. We'll do it. We'll do something. Listen,
that's a good time.
D&D is pretty extensive. We could even do one of there's a ton of fun one shots like Honey Heist. My favorite is Sexy Battle Wizards. We can absolutely do that.
You had me at Battle Wizards.
Yeah.
Low hanging fruit would have been like you had me at Sexy. I had to call an audible.
Yeah. You're like, hold on here.
I keep them guessing.
Yeah, there we go. Didn't see that coming.
You really did get her though. She was like, oh, yeah. Okay.
All right.
I had to make a game time decision. I was like, where am I going with this one, man? Bring it home, baby. Bring it home.
Yeah. It would have been like,
10 out of 10.
I was like,
what's on your mind?
It was a team effort. You threw it up at the backboard. You threw the lob up at the backboard.
I'm just throwing out options here. You play off of it. Yes.
I had to catch it.
Yeah.
Listen, I see the chemistry already.
Perfect.
I love it. I'm excited.
We've got a table. It's good.
Hold up. Time out. Freezer. It took Namek 86 episodes to blow up in what was supposed to be 5 minutes, so let's take our time with this one. And we'll see you next week on Dragon Ball 4 Life. Dodan Ray.